Okay. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's the Board of Selectmen's meeting, September 3rd, 2024, here in the Town of Lee courtroom. First, I will read this pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. I'm hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of this meeting. So if you'd prefer not to be videoed or recorded, now's your chance to escape. Okay, good enough. Our first order of business is the review and possibly approval of the open session minutes of August 20th, 2024. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the minutes from August 20th, 2000. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, so I assume there's no adjustments to be made. We're good. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, great. Thank you very much. Our second order of business is to open the floor to any public comment from anyone who may wish to speak. All right, we have one hand raised. Who would that be? Who is this person? Please come up and hi there. How are you?
Chairwoman.
Yep.
And I'd like to give a huge thank you to Larry Sherpa, William Bell, and Tom Vidden Camps for their participation in the free boat and vessel safety checks from the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary on Saturday, August 31st, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Lee Boat Ramp. Boat launch at Laurel Lake. We were able to check boats and kayaks. Thank you also goes to Officer Retzel for sending the phones for parking, making sure that everything ran smoothly. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary will offer this resource again during the first week of July 4th, 2025. So thank you, and just stay tuned for activities at Founders Weekend, September 20th to 22nd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Seeing none, anybody online, public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move along. In our general business, our first is a one-day entertainment license, All Hallows Eve, by Carrie McGinn and Nicole Webster Clark. Would anyone like to come up and tell us what this is about, or do you want us to just move forward? Yeah, come on up, introduce yourselves to everybody who might listen to this and go from there.
Hello, I'm Nicole
Hi.
Webster Clark. And I'm Carrie McGinn.
Hi.
And we're planning a family-friendly one-day event from 12 to 5 in downtown Lee to support local businesses and celebrate community.
Okay. And what would those dates be?
Saturday, October 19th with a rain or inclement weather date of the 26th.
Okay. That's just what we have here, so that's good. All right, excellent. All right, anything else? It says there might be 2 musical acts, a movie picture show. Is there a particular movie that you already have lined up, or are you waiting to decide?
We're working with the library and the church to decide who wants to host, and it will be
Okay,
family-friendly
okay.
movie as well.
And most likely won't be in the park anymore, we'll be in the church. In the
Or
library.
anyway. Okay, well, that makes sense.
It's cold.
Yeah, you never know too, but it'll be dark by 5 probably. That's the other issue.
Exactly.
Kind of hard to believe, but yeah. Okay, any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, what's your pleasure here?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the one-day entertainment license.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, and so any questions from the public? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so that's unanimous, and we'll sign off on this and get it to you. All right,
you.
thank you, and good luck.
Thank
Good luck. All right, great, thank you. So the next is a use and it says a use and occupancy agreement. It's a sale agreement for the property, the Biazin property on 41 Railroad Street. It's all spelled out here if you've had a chance to read it. This is the property that we're purchasing to eventually tear down. And it's all part of the property that we're going to have the public safety complex on. Anything you'd like to add or any questions that anybody has on this?
Just think it's for the negotiated price,
Sure.
375,000.
Okay, yeah. And is this one of those where the whole board signs or it only is the chair?
Just you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. So any other comments or questions? Ellen? No?
No, I don't
Not
think
from out in the
so.
public, and I would accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we sign the closing documents for 47 Railroad Street.
Second.
Now I have a question. In this purchase and sale, it says 41 Railroad. We just had a motion for 47. You know which the right address is. Just happen to notice here as I'm looking at this.
Yeah. On the occupancy agreement, it says
Yeah.
41 on
Let's
the,
go with that one then.
41?
That's
Yeah.
what
Okay.
it says on there.
And let's go with either or. Maybe we'll buy somebody else's property. Okay.
Yeah, if you're
For the
looking at
Piazza
41,
property
it's
on
not
Railroad
Piazza.
Street. Okay.
We're not.
So we could amend to 41. You're good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do we have a second for that?
I do.
Okay. Then with that as an adjustment, I will call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that is unanimous. All right, we're next going to, we've already purchased the land, 1185 Pleasant Street, which used to be the daily trucking property. However, when we assumed that we also have to sign off on an assignment and assumption of leases there. If anybody's driven by there, you've seen some electric trucks there with the booms up and all that stuff. And what it amounts to is they were into a lease situation with the owners that the date went beyond our purchase. So we are now going to be the leasees and we will get the rent from that. But we do have to sign off on this and it looks like just the chair will have to sign, but if you folks have read it, you can tell me what you would like to do with this.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we sign the assignment and assumption of leases for the property at 1185 Pleasant Street.
Thank you. We have a second?
I will second that.
All right, any questions or
We,
clarification? Yeah, why don't you come on up here though, Robin, so we can hear what your question is and everybody at home can. Yes.
So if you have to sign a lease instead of buying it, is it a lease to the?
Oh,
let's clarify,
yeah, you can clarify.
Sure, well, yeah, I think, there's a existing leases that the previous owner had where people park their trucks there and everything, and those go beyond the date of, them owning the
purchase.
property. So we're just agreeing to extend those. Is that pretty much?
Yeah, we own the property already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just somebody was leasing it from the previous owner just on I think a 6-month.
Till December,
Yeah.
till
We're not-
December
and I was
31st.
gonna clarify that too, because I don't think
Thank you.
we're not gonna extend those leases past that. We're gonna utilize the full lot.
Right, that's what I.
Yeah,
Or if we
Or,
do,
yeah.
it would follow the regular 30B procurement, so it would go out to get bids on it, that sort of thing. We're kind of just letting them finish off what's there and then we'll decide. So,
Thank you for
Sure,
clarifying.
not a problem. Okay. And so, yeah, because the lease was already in place. So,
we don't wanna just kick them out.
no, we don't think that's right either, so. And we don't need that space at the moment. Eventually, we'll need that. As Town Administrator Britton had mentioned, we may put it out to bid again and lease it to him for another 6 months, depending on what our time frame is to be able to develop any other issues we may want to do on that property. But for right now, they're at least there till December 31st. Okay, so we had a motion and a second, but I don't think we called for a vote. So now that, that's right, because there was a question, nobody else online. All right, so with a motion and second, I would now call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so that is unanimous. All right, next we have yet another temporary sign permit request for an extension for advertising the Lee Founders Weekend from the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know that we have to go over the whole description again, but it's basically the sign that's out there. So if.
It is the last time, we won't ask again.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Yes, because it's over in September. All right. Very good. So I assume if there was a fee, we'd probably move
Yeah.
to to not charge them, but anyway, what's your pleasure? Any other questions for them at all, since Kathy's here?
No, just the statement that our Founder's Day weekend is
Mhm.
September 20th through the 22nd, so come on down to
Mhm.
Lee and enjoy the town.
Exactly. All right, with that, I would accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we grant the 30-day extension for temporary sign from the Chamber of Commerce.
Right, you have a second?
I'll second that, provided we waive the fee. That was on it.
Sure, so we'll waive the fee. All right, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, very good. So that passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda is the Berkshire gas permit for 95 Mandalay Road. It looks like they're gonna be retiring part and putting one in. Is that what I'm reading, or is that a different one? I think that's what I was looking at. Look at the map here. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna retire one and put in another one. So what's your pleasure? It's been signed off and approved by the Department of Public Works Superintendent and also by our Chief of Police.
Yeah, and they're not doing anything in the road, so
No.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the Berkshire gas permit for 95 Mandalay Road.
Right? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous also. Utility cut, it's timely. I know this issue has come up in many years ago. The department, the Board of Public Works actually adopted a street cutting remake kind of a deal where if you're gonna cut into our streets, you had to do, a certain type of fill, you had to compact it a certain way, you had to do a bunch of different things. And what we have here is utility trench permanent pavement repair. It happens to be the one that Mass Department of Transportation uses. It's in front of us. And what the question is in front of us is, would you like to adopt this as our town standard? And discuss whether or not, when someone has to come into the road, if we should be asking for and receiving a bond from those people to make sure that it's redone this way and that this is met. It's a great cut sheet, and Mass DOT uses it if you cut into a state highway. So what do you think, gentlemen?
Do we have, does Lenny weighed in on this at all?
I have not spoken to him directly, but
Yeah, so-
Chris has.
And the other thing is, we actually do mention in the utility cut permit that we reference a standard,
Yeah.
which was adopted back in 2016.
Yes,
But somewhere along the line between changeover and staff and so forth, it's kind of
yeah,
fallen by the wayside. So either way, we should readopt a standard to go with the application.
I agree. They
And,
hand it out.
The Public Works has kind of recommended a bond
Yes, right.
be done so that if they don't follow this, hold that for 1 year. If it settles and it hasn't been done properly, they don't get the money back.
Well, we use that to fix it.
Or we,
Yeah.
yeah,
And we can fix it ourselves and cover the cost. If we are going to do this, I know it's from Mass DOT, I assume it's a public document, we can use it. The only thing I would suggest in item footnote number 2. It says that it's with the approval of the district highway director, perhaps we could just adjust ours to say from the superintendent of public works. And the last bit of number 2. All right, I just highlighted it here. I think with that change, it'd be a good change for our town, that we, or maybe even say the Lee superintendent of whatever, but I think we need to just clarify that, so we're not going to Mass DOT for this or something, we don't need to do that.
and this may have been the one that we had used before, because this was also done in 2016 as but it just, like I say,
I understand, and actually there was one that was done between 2000 and 2012, there was another one when we had a different superintendent and a different town administrator, but these things get dropped every once in a while, so it's good. So would you folks be interested in re-upping on this particular utility cut standard? Let's start with that separately.
Yeah, I would.
So,
I'd make a motion that we accept the adoption of the standard
okay,
for
thank
the
you.
utility trench permanent pavement repair document in front of us.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second, yes.
Okay, all those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm-
Now,
I'm- I'm-
same issue with the bond.
Right, I'm
Yeah.
curious how the bond fee would be determined. Is it per,
Linear foot?
yeah, right,
Or-
that's- yeah,
Yeah, or just a cut.
area, or is it pretty like boilerplate, like this is what the bond is gonna
When we,
be, no matter what?
when we do, curb cuts, it's just one flat fee, no matter how big the curb cut is,
Right.
of $200. The suggestion for this would be up to $1,000, but not necessarily. That's kind of up to you guys, but not more than $1,000.
Well, would we prorate it and say like if they're cutting into up to half of the road, it's 500, and if they cross the entire road, it's 1,000? I mean, we just need to be able to cover our
Right.
costs if all of a sudden somebody goes away.
Right, yeah. No, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
Yeah, so-
Or a different number, I don't know, I'm just,
$1,000 for that kind of work, is a lot of money.
right, but also if you're only cutting into it 5 feet. it's a
Yeah.
lot of,
that's
you know.
different.
But there again, you're gonna fix it and get your money back.
Yeah,
You know,
if you do it right, you'll get your
Yeah.
money back.
exactly, every time, you're gonna get your money back every time.
And that's the same idea with the curb cuts, is if they cut the curb and don't put an apron in, we use the $200 and buy blacktop and put an apron in, but if they do it, they get it back. So
Who determines whether it's done right or not? Is that our superintendent?
Should be.
Yeah.
Should be, right, yeah. Okay,
And it's gonna, if it's gonna, yeah.
well, that's just, I just wanna make sure it's the right person looking at it, you know?
And also the, good time to settle too, this,
It takes,
These,
that's where we hold it for a year, so after the year it gets
Right.
inspected.
because that was always a problem when people would be digging at the last minute in the fall, they wouldn't be compacting right over the winter it settles.
Mhm.
And they never came back because we never had money to,
Right.
so we ended up going out and fixing it. Part of our cost, so.
Okay.
Well, would anyone care to try and put all that into a motion that we can vote on?
Well, Mr. Chairman, let's see if we can do this. I move that we implement a policy for curb cuts, incrementally between, $200 and $500, depending upon the amount of road disturbed.
Okay,
Well, it's utility.
Would it be-
so who determines that? Let's just, and that's fine. Let's talk about the motion after. Do we have a second to that motion?
I think, were we talking about 500 or 1,000?
Well, he's
it's
saying,
incremental between.
Sorry, maybe I should second
Second
it.
it
I'll
first.
second it.
thank you. Now we can talk about it. Okay. So now we can have the discussion as to whether that needs to be amended or whether you clarify, the foot or whatever you want to do. How do you want to? So you had mentioned 200 and 500.
If you're working, if you're
Sure.
like a manhole cover, you might be able to,
Yeah, I got you.
$200 and then increment, if you do all the way across, be 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
way that the motion is.
And the superintendent would make the decision.
Do we?
I think we need to redo the motion, because remember when you said 200 and 500. So, perhaps you could withdraw that motion and then remake a motion if you're good with that.
Okay, I withdraw the motion and, for trenches, crossing a road, they'd be charged, incrementally between 200 and 500, $200 and $1,000,
Okay.
depending upon the amount of road disturbed.
Okay, to be
To be
determined by,
determined by the superintendent. of
thank you
public
very much.
I would second that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Makes sense to me.
Anybody have a question? Seeing none, nobody has their hand up, only one person done. All right, so we have a motion for that and we have a second and we've had our discussion. So I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so that would be unanimous on that part. We good, Sabrina? You got that okay?
Got it.
Okay, just making sure we're all good. Okay, next. We have cultural council appointments. I can read these off and then, we have the chairman here of the cultural council, and Robin, if you'd like to come up. I'm gonna read these first and then you can give us your advice and we'll talk about it.
We have two of the appointees.
Oh, yes, we do. Nicole's here, yes, and Carrie McGinn's here. You can come up and stand with her, or you can sit where you are. If there's any questions, we'll get to you. What we have here is some recommendations for cultural council appointments. Francis Aquino, Abigail Noble, Christine Vile, Catherine Laird, Carrie McGinn, Ariel Hyatt, Meg Sanders, Bill Yelly, Nicole Webster Clark, Elaine Morrill, and Martha Page. Now, we do have a few. There are three here who are not Lee residents, but they're deeply involved with the town. So would you like to explain what you've got going on?
Yeah, so normally if you have someone who's not from the town on the council, they can't vote. And they have limited, they're just there to fill space as a body in the meeting. But these people are really talented. There's musicians, there's people who understand finance, there's, I just
Artists.
think they would be such an asset to the council and I would love their input and have them be able to vote. You guys can make an exception. The other thing is that the council is mostly a bunch of old people. And they're dying off, they're getting sick. We've lost, we had 2 members leave, we had 1 member die, we have 2 members who are currently really sick.
Okay.
And I just want to load the council with some diversity and younger people who have a lot of energy and a lot of skills. It goes slightly against the Mass Cultural Council. I've contacted them and nobody's, because they wanted to set a limit of like 7 people. But in a small town where, you're gonna lose people anyway, they're gonna say, oh, this wasn't really for me. And so I just want to have a vibrant, diverse, active council. And I posted on nextdoor.com, I said, do you really want to be the only town in Massachusetts without a cultural council?
Yeah.
And I got a wonderful response, and the people who responded, there's business owners, there's finance people, there's PR people. They have so many gifts to bring. So, they couldn't be here, but I just wanted to be here to tell you that I'm really excited about it. And it's gonna bring a lot of new energy. I have so many ideas for the council that we can't implement. Plus, I've been the chair for like almost 8 years and you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I get that.
But there was nobody else, so I'm hoping to train a new chairperson this year. I'll still stay on, and run my concert series, which is awesome. And I don't know, Chris let us put up a bulletin board last year. So if you're ever wondering what the council's doing, we're doing so many cool things. We're helping with reading programs, with writing programs, with school STEM programs. And everybody writes these beautiful thank you notes and sends pictures, stuff for seniors. And I try to get it all on the bulletin board. It's getting crowded, but I'll take it down for next year. So anyway, I did that because of the time when you guys asked me, what does the council do? Right, so now
Very
you can
helpful.
always look if you just.
Okay, appreciate it. What I have noticed is you don't have your name on here. Robin, you don't have your name on here to be appointed.
You did that.
Oh, you're, okay, I didn't know if you were at the end, I didn't know if you were at the end of something or if we needed to
I had
reappoint
mixed
you.
feelings. I was waiting to hear from the Massachusetts.
yeah.
I didn't know if I could even do it, and then you guys kind of jumped the gun, and I'm fine with that.
We do that on occasion.
It's okay.
So it's just what we do.
It's okay,
So,
because
okay.
there was no one else to do it
All right.
at that
Well, as
time.
long as I was gonna add you to the list if you were at the end of your cycle, but I guess.
Well, I was, but you already voted me in.
Okay, excellent, all right.
Sorry.
No, any questions from you two or?
The only thing I'm perfectly happy to accept your recommendations that, do we know for certain that somebody who doesn't live in town can vote?
Yes, I contacted the Massachusetts Cultural Council. They said there's no restrictions.
Right.
and It depends on each
Great.
town. And then I talked to Chris
Mhm.
and he said, we usually don't do it, but you could ask for an exception. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, today we did double check with our corporate bylaw and our other, and procedures, and we didn't find anything that said we couldn't do this.
Right.
So we just wanted to make sure we were covering our bases.
And it is an exception. It's just that these are really vibrant, talented, diverse people, and
Okay.
I think they're gonna be such an asset to the council. I'm really excited about it.
And Chris, you had something.
Yeah, I was gonna, well, I know, for example, Nicole works at the
Yes,
public school.
right.
The other ones, did some of them have businesses here?
One woman lives in like Lenox, but she owns a business in Lee.
Right.
Okay.
And she was out of town, so it was hard to reach her. She was the last one I got you her contact info.
So they have connections is my point. so that-
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So-
They all have connections to Lee. It's not just like I'm picking random people who don't live here.
Okay, it
Um,
sounds good. Any other questions or comments?
So would these, this is a list of 11, I think.
Yes.
How many other members are there?
There's
Right
you.
now, there are 5 members and 2 of them are sick
Mhm.
and may resign, and you have to have at least a quorum of 5 when you vote.
Right.
So it's
And not
hard to even
everyone's-
have a forum at that
We
point.
may not even have a quorum after this month.
Mhm.
And not everyone's gonna be able to be at every meeting, which is,
Sure.
this makes it really, I mean, I'll be shocked if everyone comes to our big December voting meeting when we vote on the grants. If they do, it's gonna be a long meeting.
I was gonna say, I would think that's when they would want to show up.
Well, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna want all the feedback we can get,
Yeah.
but,
Okay,
I think Sabrina
Anything
had-
yes, sure.
I just want to add that according to the Mass General Law, you have to have at least 5, but you can have up to 22 members.
well, that's an older, yeah, but the Massachusetts Cultural Council changed the rules last year.
They actually changed the
The law?
law.
I don't know if they changed the law. but
Probably
they said
can't
that-
change the law.
They said you.
Yeah,
You're
maybe the
limiting the
recommend-
number of
Yeah.
members on the council, and so I wrote them, and I said, you can't do this, we're not gonna have a council,
Right.
and nobody answered me.
Well, as long as the law says that, I don't care what the council says, that the mass.
Okay, well,
They
that's
can't
good to
change the
know,
law.
'cause I thought we could have that many, and
Yeah.
the councils, I've visited councils all over the state.
Mhm.
Because I wanted to see what successful ones were doing, and they would have like 15, 18 members, and it was, they would assign people to, I mean, we've done that on a really small scale, because we're a really small council. But I'm envisioning a lot more.
Okay.
And I know that, you guys have been looking into cultural districts, which have nothing to do with the cultural council.
Right.
But you need a cultural council member to be active in that. And now we have enough people that could happen.
Okay.
Right?
It's a separate thing. People who were asking, why doesn't the cultural council do this? It's not up to us.
Right, I understand.
But, we're more than willing to help, and
All right, so any other questions or comments? If not, given that they all should be voting too, the asterisks just show that they're not Lee residents. So, we don't even have to worry about that part of it, but do I have a motion on the table here?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the cultural council appointments as you read.
Okay, do we have a second? Right, any other last minute comments? Saying no, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and there's your unanimous vote, so
thank you.
be on your way and have fun. Now, will they have to get sworn in with the clerk?
Yes, they can.
Yeah,
see,
we just-
I know, I'm gonna contact,
Okay.
they have to get sworn in, then they have to do the 3 trainings that the town has.
Yep.
And they have to do a whole bunch of trainings that,
I'm sure
Council.
cultural, okay, very good.
so.
All
That's
right.
why I'm glad we're getting started now, because I wanna have them up and running.
Sure, before December, okay.
Anyone here who's on another, I noticed a couple people that are on other committees, they don't have to do conflict of interest
Right.
yet, just to let,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
They're already in this.
I know, and they're already, there's a couple of them, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, our next order of business is a letter to decide if we want to sign a letter of support for a community compact best practices grant for EMS services, emergency management services. So I'm going to read the letter and then you can decide if you want to vote to sign it or have me sign it. I guess there's only one name on it. Since dear Representative Smitty Pegnatelli, the Select Board of the Town of Lee supports your initiative to apply for the Community Compact Best Practices Grant. We understand that this grant will support a study conducted by the Collins Center for Public Management, focusing on regionalization EMS services in Southern Berkshire County, with the town of Great Barrington being the fiduciary and administrative agent. We also understand that the grant will not require a financial match from the town. We understand by committing our support that we expect to participate in this study by, and there's three things. The first is appointing a representative to the regional task force who will actively participate in monthly meetings, provide necessary information and guidance to the Collins project team, and ensure consistent communication with our town. Second is the responding, and that we will respond to surveys and requests for data from the Collins Center, including statutory information, call and billing data, budget documentation, contracts, staffing details, economic trends. And third, and finally, engaging with Collins staff in interviews and conversations, providing access to our facilities for site assessments, and remaining open to considering various service delivery models that may differ from our current practices. We understand the importance of this says August 16th deadline, and we have expedited our letter of support to ensure it helps with a timely submission of the grant application. Sincerely, and it has me as chair. So what's your pleasure? And are we still okay with the August 16th deadline, even though we're over?
Yeah, they're still taking.
Cool. All right, what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Well, and Ryan is good with all of this and.
Yeah, I believe he is, yes.
Ryan and I have both been attending the meetings. This doesn't mean we're committing to anything, but they are looking at, pretty much every town, with existing facilities is signing on to this. So it may end up, that Lee or another town could offer services to other towns as well that don't have ambulance service.
Sure.
So
So broaden our ability to have intermunicipal agreements, I assume.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we authorize you to sign the EMS study grant.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions from the audience or anyone online? No? All right, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so that is also unanimous. Next on our agenda, we have a proposal to respond to a letter to the editor of the Edge from a Mr. Peter J. Most. I know I read the article. I assume a lot of people probably did. And here is what we're proposing to say to the editor. We are pleased, and this is from the Town of Lee Select Board. We are pleased that the Town of Lee's suit against Monsanto Company, Solutia Inc., Pharmacia LLC, and General Electric was deemed worthy of attention by editorialist Peter J. Most. However, his op-ed, which was entitled "Town of Lee is not in a position to be burning bridges," contains several instances of disinformation we would like to correct. First, Mr. Most's description of our counsel, Cristobal Boniface, as discredited is a gratuitous insult to Mr. Boniface, who has a long and outstanding reputation in the field of environmental law and other areas. Tellingly, Mr. Most mentions a $45,000 sanction against Mr. Boniface as proof of incompetence, but he fails to add that the sanction was later thrown out and Mr. Boniface was awarded $150,000 in compensatory damages. Second, Mr. Most's op-ed is infused with the lawyerly supposition that the only good case is one that wins, and anything short of that is an embarrassment. He overlooks the basic democratic principle that as members of the Lee Select Board, we are elected by the people with the mandate to make decisions based on what we think is in the best interest of the town and its residents. Mr. Most is free to seek to burnish his reputation as a crafty lawyer, but we are guided by something far different. The effort to seek what is right, just, and beneficial for our town, regardless of who eventually comes out with a winning hand. Finally, the town of Lee values our position, our positive relations with our neighboring towns, and we see nothing in our suit that could constitute the burning of bridges, as Mr. Most claims. His allegation that by filing suit, we have removed ourselves from discussions surrounding the proposed remediation is ludicrous. We will continue to reach out to our neighbors and welcome suggestions for working together to resolve this difficult issue in the interest of all area residents. Our door is always open, including to Mr. Most. Sincerely, and the three members of our select board. Any comments or thoughts?
Yeah, that's, first of all, I think it's a very good letter and to the point. I'm grateful that we refer to him as an editorialist because I think the term journalist is going too far. There are ethical standards that journalists have to adhere to, including full disclosure of whether they have any political interest in the subject at hand. Mr. Most, in fact, does. I won't go into detail, but he donates money. He's part of political campaigns. And he does not disclose that as an editorialist.
Okay.
So I'm glad we're addressing this. And quite frankly, I just think that the article is a bit silly and frivolous. And I never heard from Mr. Most. I don't know of anybody who we talked to in the town of Lee. So I just think, this is an appropriate response and we just move on from here.
Well said.
Okay. Well, one thing, I mean, I've read a few of his other, in fact, all of his other articles in the past, I think about our town. He has gotten so many issues wrong that he thinks are facts. He has misstated so many positions of the town. I'm glad that we do have to straighten him out on a couple of things, especially when he starts bad mouthing our attorney, Cristobal, who has done a fantastic job in the past with other issues. Right from the very first article he ever wrote, you could see that he is probably the GE EPA cheerleader of Berkshire County. That is his entire focus, is to cheerlead this thing that is certainly most damaging to our town. And that's all I'll say at the moment about it. He is certainly a big cheerleader for GE. And so I don't know what his past is, and I don't want to know, actually. Anyway, so any other thoughts or comments or corrections or adjustments from what I read?
I think we spent enough time on this.
I think way more than we should have. All right, very good. Given that, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we sign the letter you read.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, then seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, it is unanimous. Well, we do have another utility cut. I thought we had one, 825 Fairview Street. Let's take a look at it. I don't have the backup documentation, so I wasn't quite sure. Meadow Farm Equipment Inc., 865 Fairview. Okay, they're up on Fairview Street.
So they're looking for a new curb cut on Fairview, is that what?
That's, I'm not sure. It says a utility cut, not a curb cut.
Right, sorry, utility.
And I don't have a map. Usually I have a map with everybody signed off. Do you know what's going on with
Yeah,
it?
it's just installing tapping into water and sewer.
Okay, because I don't have any backup info. So they're
Yeah,
in the
this is
street.
what this is what we received.
So do we know if DPW and the chief know about this?
I do not know, because they're not on the sign off for the utility cut permit.
Let me see. Okay, but they should be.
So
So
they have, there is a section here for DPW recommendations, but.
yeah.
Oh, no, you're right.
In
Yeah.
the middle of the document, so we don't have that.
So we don't have anything on this one. All right. And maybe it's not the right, it looks like it's on our, not quite our letterhead, but well, perhaps we could get a motion to approve pending the confirmation of DPW and the police chief's recommendation.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. And I'll call for a vote. Any all in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Yeah, I see there is a play. I mean, this is a different
Yeah.
one than we usually see. However, the other one always comes from the gas company.
right.
But here there are spots for the signatures, but what threw me is that nobody signed off.
Mhm.
So we'll forward this to them for their sign off before it gets issued. Okay, guess you can handle that one, right? Yeah, second vote. All right, next, our last general business is a one-day alcohol license for the Lee Chamber of Commerce, Taste of Lee. Would you like to come up and tell us what's about?
And Rob is on.
Oh, great, that's what, there he goes. I knew he was there for a reason. All right, thank you.
It's in collaboration with 51 Park
Okay,
at the Shanbury.
okay, very
And
good.
it's like we ran last year. Rob, did you have anything you want us to say?
I was trying to turn my camera on. I apologize, but can
Don't
you
worry
hear me?
about it.
Okay, and I'll keep working on it. But no, we'll run it the same as we did last year. You know, we'll be IDing people at the booth and then giving out wristbands. We're in a fairly enclosed area there at the
Mhm.
Shanbury. But it seemed like everything ran pretty well last year, so I think we'll have the same setup.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it does say you're inside a fenced-in front yard area on the Jamboree. Okay. Serving beer from refrigerated trailer during the Taste of Lee event, which is Friday night, the 20th. And this is from 4 PM to 10 PM. Any questions? Yeah,
We didn't receive any complaints or anything from last year. Right?
Yeah, the only thing we heard was to make sure everyone goes down the sidewalk as you get to the end of where St. Mary's and
you're
Academy
right.
Street.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone just kept walking.
You gotta get on the sidewalk.
Past the barriers and.
I met with Chief DeSantis today and we went over, we're gonna have 2 volunteers in
Yeah.
that space with glow sticks and signs and keeping people, reminding them that the road is then open and they.
Yeah, after that point. No, that's a really good point. So,
You
And-
can't
We're looking for
close it.
volunteers, if anybody out there wants to volunteer to come keep people out of the road.
okay. And I see we have a full bevy of everyone who signed off here and has no problems with it. Police, building, fire, health, and DPW. So we're the last board standing. So what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the application for a special one-day alcohol beverage license for the Lee Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any last minute questions or thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. You're on your way. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yep, very good. Thank you. Thanks for being patient on there. Next, any topic the chair could not anticipate, and right now I have to say there's nothing that I couldn't anticipate that isn't already been taken care of. So, gentlemen, anything you'd like to bring to our attention?
No.
All right, seeing nothing, we'll go to the town administrator report. You're up, Chris.
So I have a few updates to share from the EPA. On October 15th, they will receive the revised transportation plan from GE.
Okay,
So at that point, we'll be able to see what the revised plan looks like, and there should be more comment on the revised plan after
very
that.
good.
They do expect sometime in mid-November, I don't have the exact date yet on this one, but the revised project operation plan and quality of life plan is due back in November. They did also want me to mention that there will be people working at the Woods Pond Dam. They're installing an auto sampler that will take water samples automatically
Okay,
through that process. So if anyone's wondering what's happening there, it's the sampler. Also, 2 other meetings coming up. The CCC is going to be meeting on October 9th, and that will be held in Lenox. And then the next day on October 10th, the EPA will be in Lee at Lee High School Auditorium for a presentation on PCB volatilization. Related to that, 2 things I wanted to mention to the board. Attorney Bonifaz did want me to let you guys know that he's representing us. He's also looking to do some additional work for the Tri-Town Board of Health. So
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I pass it along and make sure there was no objections that he also work with that.
Not for me.
Nope.
And lastly, I've shared with everyone in your packets the information sheet on the lawsuit.
Mhm.
And also everyone got by email a link for the Save the Housatonic website. We're planning to go public with that on Monday, so as well as this vital information sheet. So if anyone has any other corrections, let me know by the end of the week. And
Okay.
that front-facing PR campaign will start with the launch of that website beginning of next week, and then some letters will go out. So media outlets, so.
Chris, when we have our handouts, will that be in color or will it be in black and white like it is now? I know our first shot at that was all color. It was very pretty.
Yeah, this one is in black and white, but it will go out in color on the website.
It's on the website.
Yeah,
Great.
and
It'll
all
look
of
really
the-
nice.
Everything on here, these will all be hyperlinked too, so
Yeah.
all of these articles, you can click on it and bring you right to the article.
That sounds super.
And as well as anything underlined will be hyperlinked. Well, so that will go out, that will go on our current website, it will go on the new website, and will get e-blasted.
Thank you. Need to make sure when that e-blast goes out, it goes to all the senators and reps and right up the food chain. Thank you. All right, anything else? About our meeting tomorrow night, you want to announce that, or what we're doing tomorrow?
Yes, oh, yeah,
Because I was gonna do it if you didn't.
Oh,
Why
okay,
don't you
sure.
do it under your,
Okay.
under your little say.
Building committee will meet tomorrow night. And we will be interviewing 3 finalists for owner's project manager for the public safety building. So that will be in this room. We'll have 3 different companies, one at 5 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock, and one at 7 o'clock, that will do a 20-minute or so presentation and then questions, and that will narrow down hopefully to our final, our final selection for OPM. So.
Which may or may not happen the same night. We may listen to everything and then meet again, the next week or whatever to discuss but we'll see how strongly everybody feels. Thank you.
And that's the first big, well, we've done the
Yeah.
property acquisition, so other than that, this is our first major step to hire the project manager, who will then hire everyone else.
Go from there.
So,
Yeah. All right, great. Well, thank you very much. Anything else, Dan? Bob,
No,
Sean?
no.
Chris, you're good?
Good.
Okay. I will announce that our next regular meeting will be right here, 7 o'clock on September 17th, Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. And with that, I would accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Great.